Our two themes, BuzzFeed President John Steinberg says will be a big trend next year. They know something about trends. He's a CNBC contributor here with us at Post 9. John, good morning.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
So is there already like a 17 things you need to worry about with privacy and anonymity?
Well, we had a great post on this week, all people on Bitcoin talking about, on Weibo talking about Bitcoin, some of the top comments we posted. But yeah, I definitely think it's a trend, and candidly, I think it's a trend that I missed. In 99, Scott McNealy, then at Sun, said you have zero privacy, get over it. I think that was the sentiment in 99 and kind of spoke to the times. I certainly didn't agree with it then, but I think people are shocked how little privacy we actually had. And the rise of Bitcoin, Snapchat, Whisper, it's definitely an investable trend.
What should the policy response be in Washington?
I think there has to be more transparency, and I think not only the policy response in Washington, what you're seeing in the established companies, their response to Washington is they realize now that it's a competitive trend that they need to seize on, right? Yahoo, Google, Facebook, the next kind of wage of internet competition will be fought on, I think, privacy and who kind of, stands up for the users.
Were you surprised at this gathering that we're looking at right here, the fact that they could all coordinate cohesively around a mission?
I think it's an easy issue. I kind of wish that we had been invited to it. I mean, I think it could have cast a broader net. When we see these established companies, it's funny. They're the kind of the up and comers, and we're sort of an even more an up and comer, right? So I think we would have wanted to be in the tent too. I think they could have gone even broader. It's an issue that affects everybody.
And what would you say? I mean, so the interesting thing about it, to the point about the quote from 99, is that, is this something that people just need to acknowledge and embrace, or is there a sense at which the pendulum has swung entirely one direction, and now with things like Bitcoin, they're looking for something to bring it back to some semblance of normalcy, if that's even possible in today's world?
I think the cat is already out of the bag on this. I think that we've asked for transparency. I think the government hasn't been clear on it. I think the idea that it's ever going to be clear, most people really don't believe in, especially young people, and I think we're going to see secure text messages, secure phone calls, everything is going to be encrypted, cryptocurrencies are going to rise. I think that this is now, there's no turning back.
Different topic.
Yeah.
Twitter, 5184 here. We had you on shortly after the IPO. We know you were long-term bullish on the notion of Twitter as a self-sustaining company, but is this too rich again?
It's too rich. It's too rich. And the reason why it's running now is retargeting, which is basically Twitter can now let an advertiser take an email address or a cookie. So if you shop on a site and you look at something but you don't buy it, the advertiser can find you again on Twitter. That was built into the price, right? This is why Facebook ran the last time, this kind of retargeting, the lowest hanging fruit of advertising.
But wait a minute, why is it too high then if what you're pointing to is actually a business model that has done well for Facebook, could do well for Twitter?
Well, because if you look at the multiples, if you look at revenue to EV on next year's numbers, Twitter is at 25, okay? Facebook is at half of that. Google is at 5.5. I think Google is dramatically underpriced. Everybody forgets that YouTube is basically a Twitter or Facebook hiding inside of Google that brands absolutely love. So it's great. I love Twitter. I love the ad products, but it's so rich.
I guess, well, that's going to be a push and pull, a tug of war with the longs and the shorts over the next 12 months.
And that's where you're hearing some guys on the desk saying that a lot of the real money, long money, whatever you want to call it, was on the short side of a Twitter and a Facebook story, and it's getting caught a little bit.
The other possibility is doing $1.1 billion, $1.2 billion next year for them is kind of a slam dunk in my opinion, right? I mean, you go out there, you go to major brands and you say, throw down another 25 million with us, throw down another 50 million with us. We're not talking about 20 or $50 billion. So it's a pretty easy revenue beat if they extend the sales force a bit, go deeper, explain these products, and pull bigger budgets.
And just in a word, to go back to this earlier point on secure text, secure calls, that this is all coming. A couple of other investable names would be.
I think they're all I think they're all private right now.
Okay.
And I think that's why there's so much Silicon Valley enthusiasm around. Because I think that people say, beyond the fact that it's really captivated young people, this is a product which answers the privacy concerns. I think there'll be a lot more competition. I think Google will go into it. I think Facebook will go into it. It's something that everybody wants.
Wow.
Well, John, people are responding to they really do want to know what you think about valuations, about business models long term. Please come back.
Thank you. I love being here, guys.
John
Good
Steinberg
seeing you.
Of BuzzFeed. Been talking a lot this morning about the Volcker rule, of course, and what it means for the banks, what it could mean. Up next, we'll go straight to the source. Lazard CEO Kenneth Jacobs will join us when Squawk on the Street comes.